There he is. Yeah. I think you do all the talking. Just on the slides.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to be the jabber scribe? Thank you, yo. Anybody want to take minutes? It's really easy. Really, really, really easy. I'll give you a cough drop. I'll give you 2 cough drops. Seriously, we can't proceed. Did you? All right, Melinda, thank you. Anyone who goes to certificate transparency now has to volunteer to take minutes.
That is exactly the motivation, yeah.
You know, they don't have the stickers this time.
Do they have the blue sheet?
Yes, I handed one out.
Okay.
What?
No stickers in the yellow.
Yeah. Here, take all my cough drops. It'll actually be kind of easy if you just download the PDF or something and add annotations to it, because we're going to try to go really quickly so that everyone can get to the GitHub off, which I think everybody wants to go to. All right. The blue sheets are going around there on that side of the room. We'll pass them over. By now, you have all seen the note well at least 3 times. Oh, am I now? Yeah, okay, there we go. Now I'm using the mic. Hi, I'm Rich. This is Daniel. 60. So you've all seen the note well. Basically, it says if you've got any IPR, you must disclose that you've got the IPR. Otherwise, please leave the room. Okay? All right. Daniel did this bang-up job of coming up with a slide template to discuss all of the drafts. So without further ado, most of this meeting is probably going to be asking for people to commit to reading the drafts. There, in a couple cases, help shepherd a document through. They're short, they're very straightforward, they're easily separable. There's not a lot of relationships among all of them. It's not like you have to understand all of HTTP before you can understand H2. So, you talk, I'll slide.
Okay. So this draft, I think this draft is one of our priority. We have discussions about assigning OIDs. So we took a decision which is requesting the INI ARC and putting this OID under this ARC. There has been some discussions about pre-hash versus non-pre-hash signature. I think the consensus is that we are only defining the draft for non-pre-hash variant. So I guess one comment to that, I think that also should be said for all the draft. If we should say that clearly, it's basically a design choice. And yeah, there are some identifier for the pre-hash variant. So, well, if we only focus on the non-pre-hash, then probably we should remove this. Next slide. I think there are 2 slides on this draft. Okay, so the next step, OID values, update the version, and we need some reviewers so that this week or next week we can send that to the ISG. So any volunteer?
Come on, you know you care about CMS. Okay, we'll take it to the list. We don't want to do it without at least one other person having read it. I guess Russ right? So it's in really good shape. Okay.
Tammy.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. All right. Curdle CMS.
Yeah. Do you want to go to this one or?
Yeah, unless there's any discussion. On
No. Move to the next.
Yeah. Next.
Just so I can be clear, exactly what am I changing?
You're changing the OIDs to the IANA ARC
Okay. And Republic.
and republish.
I think we will maybe remove everything about the pre-hashed variant.
There aren't any pre-hash variants.
There are the OIDs, the algorithm identifier in the beginning. And should we have some comment about the CRLs also to sum up the discussions we had?
Okay.
That's the 3 things I see. Yoav?
Yoav, a question. Have we decided that we're replacing the OIDs that are in the current draft with other OIDs? Okay, so that will have to go into the IPsec.me draft about EDDSA because it references this one.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
We couldn't. Yeah. You want to tell them the story? Some POID?
Okay, so the reason we asked for is that CMS was needed to register some OIDs, and we couldn't get the contact information from the current OID used by Curdle. So as we did not receive answers, we moved to an IANA ARC.
We had a short arc donated by Semantic, and the contact person is off, otherwise occupied. Okay. So, all right. Jim will post the draft probably pretty quickly, and then
Probably tomorrow.
Okay.
and then we'll forward it out. So you'll sync up with the IPsec folks.
I'm the executive.
Okay. Great. Okay.
So EDSA signatures, so nothing really much to say. We only had one reviewer, so it's pretty shaped. But well, if possible, we would like to have another reviewer. So anyone volunteering?
I'll get somebody from Openness to do it. Yeah, I'll get someone.
Okay.
Or play the name later.
So next slide. This one has more reviews. I don't think we need really another reviewer. Any questions regarding this draft? Next draft.
Did you put that into last one? Yeah.
Yeah, they're all in last call. So
All of those.
all those. So this draft, yeah, it's about the use of SHA-2. Yeah, I think it's almost the same. Well, we would need more reviews, especially, I think it's more the way the draft is written, but it's pretty good, it's pretty well shaped and almost ready. It's a very short draft, I think less than 10 pages, so people coming late are going to be assigned as reviewers. So you.
So we got Adam, Russ, Juan. Wow. There are some seats up front. Yeah.
So again, if you could provide some feedbacks on those, I mean, choose 1 or 2 drafts, review them, and then we can move forward.
Otherwise, you get no cookies at the next IETF.
I think any cookies now that was gone.
They were gone, yeah.
Well, get the napkin.
Yeah, this draft is also pretty much ready. Some changes have been submitted to the list. He has been considering various implementations, so I don't think it's pretty clear, but it would be better to have some other feedbacks, other reviews. It's mostly to see if the text is clear rather than the content. I mean, so that's pretty easy to go.
Yeah, it is already widely deployed, as the discussion bullet says, and it kind of points out.
Yeah, this one's okay. Yeah, I get very confused with the name of the draft. So this one is adding a new key exchange algorithm, so based on the new the curves. Yeah, it's only adding 1 point or 2. So please say you agree with that draft, and so we can move that forward. Next slide.
And if you have any questions on each of these drafts or issues you want to, you've read it, right? And issues you want to bring up, step up to the mic and we will back up, no problem. Just trying to set a speed record here, we'll look the curve. Bill.
Just one question about SSH in general. What happens if you put, with the existing applications that are out there, if you add an SSH key for an algorithm that isn't understood, do the widely used versions of SSH do something sensible, or do they fall over and die? Has anybody looked into it?
A user key or a host key?
User key.
So I think like the widely used SSH implementations will look at a whole bunch of files in your .ssh directory to try and find something that they can use.
But if they find something that they can't use, they're not going to croak up and die.
No, they'll just carry on for the next thing.
Yeah, until it hits the error count that says too many failures, but yes, it does a reasonable thing. Okay.
Well, this one is also adding two point codes, so.
Yeah. Did Mark on this one too? No, no, just the other one. Right. Okay.
Is that the last one?
No. This one, adding named DH groups, specific ones. I'm curious what TLS folks think about it, since we sort of have kind of dropped those.
I mean, sorry, is this microphone? I mean, we're kind of like moving towards a different set of groups than this. I'm a little surprised you're not adding the ones that we spent the trouble standardizing, but you know, not for us to tell you what to do other than you should do what we did.
So I think this is more about capturing what's in the deployed base than moving forward. I think that's a valid concern though, and should probably be reflected in the security considerations section.
This is DKG. Sorry, I actually haven't read this at all, but I'm assuming these are finite field groups that you're specifying. I actually don't think that you should use the same groups that we specified for TLS. Although I do think we should have specific specified groups. So I'm not sure why Ecker recommended that you use the exact same groups that we did. It's fine to have different protocols use different sets of groups as long as they're strong primes, the usual constraints.
Adam Langley, Google. So if this is just documenting existing reality, then that's great and should be done. Why wouldn't you just want to use the same groups? It's just less text.
Just to provide, I mean, the rules for generating groups that are strong are not complicated. Yeah. Like we understand those. And so you might want to not use them across domains if there's some weird something that's cross-domain that we don't understand. There's a bunch of situations of cross-domain attacks because you're using a similar protocol and things hook together, and it turns out that something in TLS looks like something in SSH and can be reused. I don't see that here, but I don't know. And if you avoid using the same groups, you can avoid that problem. Right, if these are the same groups as Ike, then now you're just, the question is Ike versus SSH. So I'm totally fine with using one set of groups for one protocol to avoid any possible cross-protocol contamination that I don't understand. I'm not claiming I have a specific instance.
How are these groups constructed? I don't know about these groups.
I don't find that hugely convincing, but then my argument was purely like it's less typing, and that's not great either. So yeah.
All right, we'll try to encourage discussion on the list and maybe pollute Ike and TLS also.
No, I don't think either of those groups has any equities here. Like, we may have some overall IETF question of what we should do, but it's not like TLS cares what. I mean, other than as a general matter of principle, cares what SSH does. I think as Adam says, this is just endorsing stuff how people already do, then great. If we're or acceptable at least. If we're picking new groups that nobody uses, we want them to use. I mean, first I'd ask why, but second I would say like, are these other group structure that we are happy about?
There are Q&A in Satsekur. These are the groups that are used in IKE and IPsec, and they have been there for a long time already, and they are generated in the same way that the ones in TLS are created, except they are using Pi and the TLS is using E, I think. But they are generated in exactly the same way. So actually either one is fine, it's just, which you think is. Both of them are used already, both of them are specified already, so it's just picking one.
So the second half of the phrase is "and running code," so that would argue for the Ike. Okay, it might be a little premature for last call. We'll solicit some discussion on the list. It might be a bike shed. Anybody else have any other issues, drafts, potential work they want to discuss?
Well, we have, when the CMS draft and the PKX draft will be sent, we have received a request for a GSS update. So that's going to be the next coming draft before we close.
Yeah, that's right. So that was off mic there before we close. Russ.
So I'm sorry I was late. Did we talk about draft PKICs? And did we settle on absent, null, or both? If not, I'd like to talk about it since we're all here.
So no prehash.
Now that I understood. That
Okay,
was settled on the
that.
list.
Yeah. No, let's explain the issue. We did not talk about it.
We did not talk. Well, is Jim here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the ASN1 structure allows when you're in the parameters field in 1997, when they converted from the 1988 syntax to the newer ASN1 syntax, some editor dropped the word optional in algorithm identifier. And as a result, a bunch of people were forced to specify null as a parameter when none was needed. And then they added optional back in the next release. And so there is some code that doesn't remember that, or does not yet know here, that optional is there, and they insist on some parameter. And so I'd prefer to not do that, but get people to update their code. And the bottom line is that we have one place in that document where there's a discussion on the list about whether it's optional or null. And the big point that David Benjamin made, and I agree with him, was pick one, don't make it, accept either one, because then you end up, that's where the interoperability problems come. Am I right, Jim, or okay, thanks.
But that would be easier if other people can support that view.
Yes, I'd like to find it. That's why I said let's talk while we're here.
Adam 90 Google, I strongly support that view. I don't give a hoot which one it is. But if this group doesn't pick one, then we will pick one, and we will break everyone else who picks anything else, and therefore, we'll pick it. So I suggest you pick it.
So on the one hand, it'd be like, well, the existing deployed base expects something. On the other hand, the existing deployed base is going to need changes to support these curves anyway. So let's just do the clean right thing. Jim?
The document right now has picked one.
Which is?
Don't. Yes, it matters because Java, the standard Java provider can't deal with it apparently. And huh?
Okay.
Right.
I think there's also I think there's also other algorithms that are actually using so it's saying that you must not have you must not have null there. So if they don't support that, they don't support those signature algorithms either. So I think that Java just need to fix their stuff. And
I'm not sure how to phrase the question without annoying people, but none. Yeah, well, okay, so yeah, absent breaks some Java in both. So how many want to support both hum?
No, absent is what breaks them.
Absent is what breaks them. Okay, all right. So it's absent, simplest, cleanest, breaks some Java. None. Null. Null. I hated this when SQL had the problem too, right? Null. You carry an explicit "I'm not here," and then both. So how many people are in favor of supporting both? How many people are in favor of having null? There's an explicit "I'm not here." How many people are in favor of having no indicator when there is no option? That's a pretty clear consensus. We'll confirm it on the list.
we all like the idea of breaking Java.
Yeah. Right. Yes, I got the note. And Jim, do you have to make any doc changes to do that?
No, that's what it does.
How could you guess?
That's called a straight line, yeah. All right, great.
And my doc's along with it.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, surprise. Okay. Anybody else have any other business they want to bring up? Yes. Okay. All right.
There is a last question about the use of PSS and or PKSS 1.5. So for I think it's RSA.
What application?
It's a SSH.
Yeah.
So I can't find the draft name.
It's the curl RSA SHA-2 one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one question is, do we have a, we would like Starlink to move to PSS? Given that, well, PKCSS is kind of, we can't avoid that one. So do we want to add a PSS, or is it a bad idea to have these two variants?
Personal preference. Shoot 1.5 in the head.
We don't know how.
Yeah. I was going to say, just like TLS-13 did. Try it.
Javnir, Peter Gutmann on the list said that there's actually no weakness that we know of with PKCS 1.5, so we might as well stay with that. It's true that it's easier to make proofs about PSS, but where there's no weakness, why add some new stuff when we already have PKCS 1.5? That's not my argument, Peter Gutmann's.
I think there was an attack if you have a very short, exponent. If you're using exponent 3 or something like that, there was something with 1.5 that was more vulnerable to something than PSS. Yeah, but I mean, if you are saying that there's nothing for 1.5, there is. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, yeah. In IPsec we also actually just moved. IPsec was using 1.5 also. Now in the when we define the new way to do signatures, we actually only define the to say that the PSS is the one that should be going, which of course causes issues because people actually have to implement it when they implement the signature algorithm also. They can't just make a very simple oh, we have the same old signature algorithms and we just change the format. They actually have to implement the PSS also. But I think it actually would be better to move to PSS.
Adam Langley, Google. PSS would be nice, but isn't the world moving away from RSA as a whole? And so is it really worth the time to worry about this?
Stephen Powell. Sorry if I got the context wrong, but we're talking about this for SSH, right?
Yeah.
Do we have anybody implementing in the room? Then we shouldn't decide.
Javnir, again, on the opposing view. Because of TLS 1.3, every cryptographic library in the world is going to implement PSS now, so might as well use it wherever we have a need for signature algorithms.
Does anybody have any strong feelings one way or the other?
Some feelings, but not those.
Yeah, okay, we'll take it to the list, and the inclination is to say, let's not add something that may not be widely used. Right, okay.
Any questions?
All right, yeah, thanks for coming. We'll probably wrap up at the next IETF. Everything will just be in last call. So next IETF will probably be certainly the last face-to-face, unless somebody comes up with a whole bunch of new drafts and mechanisms. Thank you all for your participation. See you later.
See you, Nikita.
See you later, alligator. All right. So we have 2 follow-ups on the list. Well, 3. PKCS versus PSS.
What do we do exactly? Because
Oh,
it's already on the list.
yeah. Some people, if you haven't signed the blue sheet. Yeah, well, we'll just call for consensus. I guess, obviously.
Are you guys at the dispatch meeting or?
No.
No. Okay, so they more or less decided that you can signature update a new work group.
Okay.
Not here.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Also, what is the working group about?
So they want to do 2 things, I guess. One is add EDDSA as a signing option for Deacon. The second one is to probably add a change Deacon signature header field to allow you to keep a hash public key in DNS, not like a big RSA key, and then to put public key into the message header.
Right.
And then, so that's a mail thing, so that's the logic for that thing here.
Yeah.
That's
No,
mail
that
people wouldn't turn it.
Right. That's fine.
Okay.
So I think it's the right answer.
Hey, sir.
Maybe you can ask Russ.
Yeah, whatever you
Russ.
guys decide is fine.
Yeah. As long as it's not across the.
Yeah. Cool, all right.
So do you want to send the email? Or?
Sure, yeah. let's- Right. So it's the optional parameters in the signature.
Oh yeah, the optional. So do we send a new mail or?
Let's just have it send, let's send a new mail with, yeah, saying we're seeking, confirm the consensus from the meeting. I can just do it now.
So you write it?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
right now.
I think Jim should keep the Samantha stuff.
Oh.
Just keep the ones that-
Because otherwise we'll have two, because people will eventually when from his draft. The problem was I needed three more.
Right.
And they were silent. So I just
Yeah,
got